You ever have those mornings where the shop smells exactly right? It's that blend of cold steel, fresh sawdust, and the leftover ozone from yesterday's welding. I walked in today and felt like I finally understood why people endure the splinters.
That sounds very poetic, Tiger, but I'm pretty sure the smell you're talking about is actually just floor sweepings and the fact that you forgot to empty the shop vac again.
Hey, don't kill the vibe before the coffee's even kicked in. It's Tuesday, March 24th, and we are back in the Tiger Den. We've got a lot to chew on today. Everything from lasers that would make a sci-fi director weep to the cold, hard math of actually making a buck in this game.
Good, because I looked at your books in the drawer earlier, and I'm pretty sure buy more clamps is not a sustainable business strategy. Let's start with the heavy stuff. You were geeking out over some Trade Expo news this morning?
Yeah, the Tube 2026 Expo is coming up, and man, the industry's pivoting hard. We're seeing these massive bending machines designed for electric vehicle frames. But the thing that really stopped me in my tracks was this laser saw hybrid welding tech.
Laser saw. Sounds like something you'd use to cut a planet in half. What makes it better than the welder sitting over there in the corner?
My poor old MIG machine is like a flint and steel compared to this. Normally, when you're dealing with thick infrastructure plate, say 40 millimeters, you're spending half your week grinding deep bevels and running 12 passes to fill the gap. It's a slog. But this hybrid tech, it marries the pinpoint intensity of a laser with the beefy stability of submerged arc welding. They're getting through 40 millimeter plate in two passes. Two!
2 passes? Tiger, you once spent an entire Saturday morning just trying to get a clean bead on a trailer hitch.
Look, I don't need the reminders, but this isn't just for the big guys. They're putting these cobots, collaborative robots into smaller shops now. It's getting to the point where even a medium-sized outfit can program a deep penetration weld without needing a literal wizard behind the mask. It's changing the game for heavy steel.
I love that Cobot makes it sound like a friendly sidekick, when it's really just a machine that's better at your job than you are. Speaking of being better at the job, you had a note in the prep about the electrical trades. Is that just a plug for your favorite magazine?
It's more than a plug. If you're an apprentice or even just a journeyman, and you aren't keeping an eye on the National Electrical Code updates in Electrical Contractor magazine, you're basically walking backward. But honestly, the real gold is in the community.
You mean the guys who yell at you on the internet for using the wrong wire nut?
Exactly. Places like Electrician Talk. It's the one corner of the web where the old timers, the guys who have actually smelled their own mistakes, will give you the fix for a low voltage system that isn't in any manual. I remember trying to trace a phantom ground fault in a 1920s garage once. I spent 3 hours chasing my tail until a guy on a forum told me to look for a specific type of braided wire that hadn't been produced since the Truman administration. He was right. That's the trade secret stuff you can't buy.
Okay, so stay humble, read the manual, and talk to the grumpy guys on the forums. Got it. But let's shift gears to something that hits a little closer to home for the hobbyist turned pro. We need to talk about why everyone is broke.
This one hurts because I've been the poster child for it. 2026 stats are out, and almost 68% of handmade sellers are making less than minimum wage after you account for the costs. It's heartbreaking. You see someone build a gorgeous walnut table, sell it for 800 bucks, and they're walking away with basically enough to buy a sandwich and a tank of gas.
It's the hidden labor, right? People forget that the time they spent standing in line at the post office is still work.
It's the post office, it's the 3 hours you spent answering emails, it's the 50 cents per shipping label, and it's the overhead of keeping the lights on in the shop. I used to just eyeball it. I'd look at a project and think, yeah, it looks like a $50 birdhouse. Turns out, I was paying the customer 20 bucks for the privilege of making it for them.
You literally paid for the joy of woodworking. So what's the fix? Give me the math that doesn't make my head hurt.
It's a simple formula, but you have to be brutal with yourself. You take your materials and packaging, add your hourly rate times the hours you actually spent, including sanding, which we all lie to ourselves about. Then you divide that by your desired profit margin. If that number makes you flinch, your price is probably finally right.
If it makes you flinch, it's right. I think we should put that on a t-shirt. But Tiger, isn't there a risk of pricing yourself out of the market?
Here's the secret. If you can't make it for a price that pays you a living wage, you aren't running a business. You're running a charity that produces sawdust. You have to value the calluses.
I'll remember that next time you ask me to help you move heavy machinery for the experience. Let's end on something fun. We've got weekend warriors taking on some big projects. I saw the pictures of that hog wire fence you were looking at.
Man, I love a good hog wire project. It sounds like something you'd find on a farm in 1940. But when you frame those heavy-duty panels with a crisp, mitered wood top cap, it's the perfect bridge between I live in the burbs and I might own a tractor.
It's basically the industrial chic of the backyard. Is it as easy as it looks? It's just wire and wood, right?
That's what I said before I realized that tensioning that wire is like trying to tune a giant, stubborn guitar. If you don't get the frame rigid enough, the whole thing bows in like a parenthesis. It's a great project for learning how to balance tension and compression. It'll make a better carpenter out of you, or it'll make you really good at swearing.
And what about that century-old house remodel you've been stalking online? They're almost done, right?
1 week to go. 113 years old. The lesson there, and I've lived this one, is that standard sizes are a myth in old houses. You open up a wall expecting a 2x4, and you find a rough-sawn piece of oak that's actually 4 inches wide and held together by the prayers of a Victorian coal miner.
I'm assuming that's why you always tell people to add 20% to their budget?
At least 20%. In an old house, that unexpected expense isn't a possibility, it's a scheduled event. You're paying a history tax. But when you see that original trim, polished up, and the new systems humming behind the old plaster, there's nothing like it.
So, basically, use lasers for the heavy stuff, talk to the old-timers for the electrical stuff, don't sell your soul for cheap on Etsy, and expect your old house to hate you. Sounds like a productive Tuesday.
You summarized it better than I lived it, but that's the beauty of it. Whether you're trying to hit that first $1,000 month or just trying to get a fence to stand up straight, you're moving the needle.
Any final wisdom before you go play with your cobot?
Just one thing. Whether you're an apprentice or a weekend warrior, don't let the fear of a waste of material stop you. Every botched weld and every miscalculated price tag is just a deposit in the bank of knowing better next time. Go out there and make something ugly so you can eventually make something great.
Spoken like a man who has made a lot of ugly things.
More than you'll ever know. We'll see you in the shop tomorrow.